Yo, what's good, boys? It's your boy
Your
Steve, aka Grand
Yo, what's
Puma.
good, boys? It's your boy
your
Steve.
aka Garibe, man. Got my orange juice with me.
What's good? I see my boy Cisco in the chat. What's up? What's up? Today we're gonna
What's up,
start
yo?
off with some Call of Duty actions. We're gonna go over some day one and day two. We're gonna go over some map counts, top players, some disappointments, obviously in day two. Some of you may know. So we're gonna just kick it off with day one. I don't know if you ready, E?
I mean, let's go, man. Let's dive right into this.
All right, cool. For the first matchup of day one, we had Miami and LA Gorillas. We were both wrong, which is
Yeah.
awesome. um, LA ended up taking that dub with a 3-2 map count win, which was kind of crazy. They did win both hard points and the SND. I mean, we both know if you're not winning hard points, it's gonna be hard to win that series. And I mean, looking at the stats, I mean, you had Riel and Rancor pop off for Miami. They both had like a 1-2 KD, and then the only positive one for LA was Linz with a 1.05. So
Yeah, man. Like sometimes, like I mean, like you said, I mean, even though you're getting all the kills and everything, that doesn't mean you're gonna win the series, man.
yeah.
So kind of a shock for both of us. I
Mhm.
mean, Miami only taking hard points. They're usually a good S&D team, but we really thought, Miami was gonna do something, man, you
Yeah, I
know?
mean, if you take away if you show me the stat sheets, I'm like, oh dang, Miami blew them out, and then you show me the actual map com, I'm like, what just happened? So some blunders from Miami that they got to work on there. But I mean, good for LAG. They didn't play their best and they still ended up taking that dub. So
Yeah. We gonna move right along. Our optic boys over here finally won a map, but it came at the expense of the worst team in the league. I mean, listen, not much to say about this map. I think we both had this one 3-0.
yeah,
But
appreciate it, Cisco.
thanks, Cisco. But they wasn't 3-0 at all. It wasn't really. I mean, the first map was close. Second
Yeah,
map was close. Went to around 11.
yeah,
Third map, they got 3-0'd. And then the fourth map, they showed up like the optic team that we know and love.
right.
So, I mean, they won 3-1. We thought it was gonna be 3-0. They were gonna go, wash them, go on to Saturday versus Ultra with their heads high. I mean, listen, not much to really speak about this game. I mean, everyone's in the ones besides Shotzi. Everybody on Falcons is negative. It's almost like flip-flop of the game before
Yeah,
that,
for
but
real.
Optic
Uh,
literally comes up on top.
yeah, I'm not gonna lie. That first map, that first hard point at Skyline, I was watching. I was a little nervous. It was a little too close for me. And then obviously they pull through, and then they go to SND and it ends up 6-5. I'm like, I'm not sure what's happening. And then they get 3-0 on control. I'm like, okay,
Not
this this
again.
this is not happening. But then they clutched up. Well, not clutched up. They kind of ran through them on that last hard point. So
Yeah.
I was happy to see them
I
like
mean,
get some momentum going at that last series. But it's Vegas. We kind of predicted a 3-0. I mean, it was
yeah.
3-1, but I don't think anyone saw Vegas winning that. No matter how bad Optic was playing. So I mean,
I think me and you can get a group of two other guys right now and probably beat Vegas. Not gonna lie to you, bro. I mean, listen, I still shoot pretty straight. But yeah, like you said, that map one. Listen, not a lot to speak about. I mean, all of Vegas is all positive
yep.
in map one, and optics still come out dashy with a 0.59. The search, like we said, very close. But I mean, like I said, we knew Optic was gonna win this. It wasn't in the decisive battle that we would have liked them to win it, but
Right.
hey, a win is a win when you're struggling, right? They were 0
Oh yeah.
12 before map count going before that game, so
I agree.
I think we can go on to game number three, Boston Breach versus the Surge.
Yeah, it
If you want
was
to take that one away for us.
yeah, I mean, I think I had Boston winning this, but
Hmm.
obviously that didn't work out for me, and I think you had Seattle, so you
Yep.
got that prediction correct. It was it was a little bit of a shocker. I didn't think like Seattle ran through them that first map, first hard point like 250 to
Yeah.
113, which was insane. Boston wins the S&D. They're a good S&D team to start say the least.
Yeah,
But then
Purge.
the control, Seattle won it 3-2, so it was closer. But then that last hard point was a lot closer than the first one with 250, 223. So it's not bad. But then when you look at the stat sheets, it's like a whole bunch of green for the Surge with minus oh 0.04, but he went 0.93. So, I mean, it's basically
That's
green to me.
basically what. Yeah.
And then on the side of Boston, you had Cam with a point 0.7, uh, Awakening and Purge with a point 0.9 and a point 0.97, and then Snoopy with a point 0.108. But, I mean, if you have a lot of green on the other team, it's going to be hard to beat a team that's rolling like that. So, I mean, Seattle did their thing, and then Nasty went off with a 1.21. So, tough break for Boston, but
Yeah.
it's good to see Seattle. You know, they're one of those dark horse teams that we talk about that are just kind of fly under the radar and they just pop off, and then people are like, "Whoa!" But it's like they're very well capable of doing that.
Yeah, especially now of them adding Neptune
Mm-hmm.
onto their roster. I mean, I think he's just been a great di difference maker, especially with the respawns. Going in before the episode before, I was talking about how Booza was struggling pretty much. I mean, he wasn't playing up to the Abuza standard of last year. Like last year, he was like a superstar in the making, and then he kind of came into this year like kind of struggling almost in a sense. And then he has a good game, and then surrounded by Net coming in,
Mm-hmm.
Nasty coming in looking like the Nasty when he first got picked up. So it was a very good win for them. I always say Boston's biggest issue would always be in the slaying department. I feel like they got three guys who are very inconsistent right now. And then you
Yeah.
have Snoopy who's like, I'm trying here, help me. So
Nah, Cisco,
like this
I'm
man's
definitely
fighting
not
for
playing
his
attorney.
life, man. Oh,
Yeah, Cisco asked
like
if
I
we're gonna
said, I
see me
mean
an attorney.
it's
I'm like, not these kind of attorneys. Heck no.
nah, hell no. Nah. But like I said, I mean Snoopy just be sometimes be fighting for his life, man. I mean Purge is great at S&D, but sometimes man, you need help in respawns, bro. And
Yeah.
that's sometimes that's the way you gotta win sometimes. Like you can't just rely on your searches and then try to pull off one of the respawns here and there. Like you got to get 50-50 with your respawns and be a dominant search and destroy team. That's the only way they're going to be a good enough team to win a championship or a major this year. So they got to be excellent on hard search, and then they got to be 50-50 with their hard points.
Yeah, I agree, man. So moving on to the last match of day one was Rocker and Cloud9 New York. I think we both had New York, but it was a lot closer than I thought it was gonna be. Even the
Yeah.
stats show it's all red for New York. I mean, pretty much Kremp had a 1.0, but it was 0.99. Attach had a 9.7, and then Mac and Simp with a 8.2 and 9.9 again. So I mean,
Yeah.
you have a couple of people there that are pretty much green. But if you look at Rocker side, is like Estrial, Geo, and Nero all green with over. We have a 1.01, 1.2, 1.2. But then if you look at the
Listen,
map counts, they're all pretty close.
very close. But listen, let me just say something because we got off a stream right now playing Marvel Rivals. Your kills are if they're not impactful kills, they don't matter.
Mm-hmm.
If you're just getting kills to get kills, you're baiting your teammates, that doesn't matter.
Yep.
At the end of the day, if you're playing as a team and playing as one and you're getting kills in between them, that's the only time it matters. If you're just getting kills here and there, flipping your own spawns, like I said, like you said, I mean, this series was very tight, but it came down to who played the best S&D. That was
Yep.
Clyde 9.
Yep. And that's something the
And who
stats
came up
never show us those scrappy plays or
yeah.
those clutch flanks or those clutch picks off or those clutch trades. It's something that the stats don't really show. So and that's what you got to pay attention to when you watch, especially Call of Duty at a high level. Is those little plays that matter so much. Like you can pop off, but if you lose the game, did you really pop off at the end of the day?
Yeah, it's like all the Optic fans saying, "Drop Kenny. You don't drop a guy like Kenny, bro. He's gonna make those championship plays."
Exactly. So that wraps up day one. For the CDL, we had one wrong prediction, I believe, which was Miami. Then
Yeah,
pretty much it was you were pretty much on point with everything else. I was off by one with Boston and Seattle.
yeah.
But going into day two, couple
Day
upsets.
two, yeah, day two. We put our predicts. We missed the Carolina game. I mean, we both had Carolina to be honest with you.
Yeah.
We put it up on our Twitter.
Yep.
That link will be in the description. We both had phase.
Yeah,
So
we.
going into, well, sorry, let's go into the Carolina one first, even though it's kind of a pretty much of a wash. But um, Carolina versus LAG 3-0. I mean,
Yeah,
decisive.
yeah. Slasher
Like I said,
went crazy.
yeah, when you're playing as a team, you're getting kills. This is what a series could look like.
Hmm.
The hard point was, it was okay, 250 to 202. I mean, but honestly speaking,
It was just dominant.
yeah, 250 to 202, 6-3 in the search, 3-1 under control. I mean, this was just a sweep, a good old fashioned ass beating, big brother, little brother, bing, bing, boom.
Yep.
That was this series. I mean, Slasher did his thing. That old man Slasher. I mean,
Yeah,
everybody on
he
this team was over a one.
yeah he popped off. I mean, he had a 1.35 in that hard point. He had a 2.25 in SND, and then a 1.16 in control. So I mean, if you're dropping those numbers, it's hard to be like that. And then your whole team is also positive. It's especially watching them play. They're so well organized, and they do stuff together, and that's why they're so good. So
Yeah, I really wish that the CDL had like a almost like, you know how in the NBA they do like MVP, six man of the year. I really wish they had a comeback player of the year award. And I'll give that to Slasher, man. That guy has just been great this year, all year. Like kind of reinvigorating himself and from like couple years ago almost. Like he was like what a couple years ago when he was with FaZe. I mean, he was okay. He was just doing his thing around the map, dropping point nines, winning maps and stuff. But this is like Slasher of old, man.
yep,
And it's great to watch Slasher really dominating maps, man.
right.
I said the old man can't play, and he really can. Came to play,
He's
man.
not even that old, which is crazy. But I guess Call of Duty terms, 30 is
Call of
old.
Duty old.
All
But
right,
well, you want to move into map two with FaZe and Surge. We both had FaZe winning.
we did.
But I'll let you take this one away.
We did. I had them winning without a doubt. But with the biggest upset I could think of both day one and day two was FaZe losing to Seattle 3-2, and it was close in some of the maps. Map one was close, 241, 202. FaZe won that, and then the search and destroy after that was pretty close. But then after that, pretty much all Seattle besides the control of FaZe 3-0, and then you have them Seattle winning the hard point and the last search and destroy. So they both won both SNDs and the last hard point as well. And I
Yeah.
don't think anybody saw that coming, especially a 3-2. But I mean, looking at the stats, I mean the you had a BZ kind of he didn't play to his top of his capabilities. Simp did a 1.2, selling him just over a 1, and then Draza with a 1.95. But I just think Surge just played more together in that series, especially in
Yeah.
the
I
in the search
mean,
and destroys as well.
yeah. I mean, this series reminded me when I would say Call of Duty. What map? What game? I forgot the game of it. It's slipping my mind. It was a god awful game with Bocat, just one of the hardpoint maps. I forget which one it is. When Pred and Sib were on the well, then Seattle, but now Sir Vancouver. I mean, like I said, I mean, them adding Neptune with
Hmm.
Abuza playing, if he can get back to his standard, 04 being like this fast sub. I mean, I know the stats really don't show had great, but again, like, listen, we always say someone got to someone has to die, right? Someone
Hmm.
has to be the first man in, and sometimes the first man in doesn't get enough shine. But like I said, to beat FaZe, you have to have all four of your players playing correctly,
Yep.
not just popping off. FaZe can win a series, everyone dropping 0.95s, and they'll win a series. That's fine. But when you're playing together, like if you watch that round, I mean that map five, those last couple rounds, Surge is bouncing nades off walls, getting first picks
Yep.
on phase, and it's 3-4 on the searches. Um, like I said, I love Surge kind of baiting phase to go to the, I believe it's the 8 point. I don't remember if it's the one on the underground
Oh yeah.
point, and then they just all just flood left and then just leave one person there and they just plant the bomb and they play around it. Neptune, that map five just playing like an absolute rat.
Yeah, I think I don't
Dude,
I don't
that's
know
the
if it
type of.
was I don't know if it was him or someone else, but they threw a trophy down and ended up with a double kill somehow, and I was like, what just happened? Like that's the first double kill with a trophy I've ever seen in my life.
I
But it
mean,
was
those
just it's
trophy,
just
those
it's just
trophy
things like
kills.
that that just put them over the top and knocks out FaZe
Yeah,
way early in the tournament
the
than
minor,
anyone saw.
yeah.
Yeah, that anyone saw coming. So
But
me as an Optic fan saw that and I was like, this is great, this is
yeah,
awesome. Then they go into Toronto and they just kind of dropped the ball. I don't know. They didn't. All that momentum was just gone. The Thanos snap. But I mean, I'll let you take it away. They got 3-0'd and
I mean, they like I
wasn't
said, they
pretty.
got 3-0. Map one was awful. I mean, you keep waiting for these guys to click finally, but they haven't clicked. I like I said in the previous episode that I thought that Optic would struggle even if they beat
Vegas.
Falcons.
Yeah.
Yeah, Vegas. I really thought they'll win 3-0, whatever, then they'll go against Hey Cat, I see you in the chat. I thought they'll go against Ultra, but they would struggle against Ultra. Ultra is a very underrated team. Listen, they lost Scrap, they replace him with Beans. They lose Envoy, they replace him with Joe Deceives. And you might not these are not the big names that you think, but again, with Insight and Kleenex, those are two high caliber pros. Like these guys play great. Their communication is amazing. Um, so listen, I thought they would struggle with them, but to this caliber of this hardpoint, like if you look at Optic from last year, they were the best hardpoint team in the game, if not top two with
Yep.
FaZe. So to see them dropping hard points is kind of alarming. But when you go into map two, very close. It came down to round 11. They lose 6-5. Listen, Ultra plays the numbers great, and that's it. I would like, I felt like I saw a little bit. Like, listen, you died. Listen, you can't blame Shotzi for trying to make some plays sometimes because he's so great at it and he's so consistently doing it. Sometimes I just want to see him just push out a bomb site together and just, all right, this is ours.
Yeah.
We got the four best gunnies in the game. Let's do this. Like
Yeah.
sometimes it's a little bit, here, Shotzi, go make a play instead of, yo, let's
Right.
just make a play together.
Yeah. I feel like sometimes they
So,
play a little too slow and they wait for Shotzi to do something, and then when he if he doesn't do something, they're like, okay, now we go. But I feel like they're
yeah.
like, if you watched them last year, they were just running and gunning. Where this year they're kind of just waiting and waiting, and it hurts them at the end because they're slow to rotate. They get there last. They're not trading on time, so it's unfortunate to see. I do have
Yeah,
faith in the team because everyone, I mean, they just
of
won
course.
champs this last year. Unfortunately, they had to drop Fred during the last major, and then pick them back up. So I don't know, just just maybe timing's off or something's off with the team, but I'm sure they'll figure it out. It's just gonna
Yeah,
take a little bit more reps and dedication. I feel like, but I think they'll be back.
of
How
course.
soon they'll be
Yeah.
back, I don't know. Is the problem. Hopefully, with Major being in Texas, they can
Getting
they
practice,
can feed off the
staying.
crowd or something and
Yeah, sleeping
get
at your
themselves
own
amped
bed
up.
at a manger.
Yeah, so maybe that'll help. But yeah, Optic. As much as we like to saw them win against Vegas, everyone kind of predicted that. But then to get 3-0 by Toronto, I thought they'd get at least one. I was hoping they get two and hoping they win, but that was just me just
Yeah.
hoping as a fan. But yeah, the Optics out, FaZe is out, so the two fan favorite teams are out, and then we had Thieves in New York for the final round of day two.
Yeah, well, before we get into that one, um, we both had Optic going into game five. You had them coming out decisive 3-2. I had them losing 2-3.
Yeah, so
So, like I said,
we were hopeful they'll get a couple maps, but
yeah,
obviously,
I thought they would, honestly speaking, I, I thought they would win the first hard point, lose the search, and either win one of the other respawns. But again, other things happen. But we'll head into Thieves versus Cloud9. We both had this 1-1-3 going over to the Thieves, and if you look over to the scoreboard,
it shows.
it's 1-3 Thieves. So great prediction on both of our parts here. But
Yep.
like I said, I mean, not like again, Cloud9 comes out, map one, guns are hot, they're shooting straight. Thieves with a little bit of a slow start. It happens all the time. But after that, it's just
That was it.
again, yeah, it's over from there. Like it, Thieves reset after map one. They're like, listen, we're the better team and we know it. 6-3 Surge, 3-0 Control, 250 to 109 on map four just to take the 3-1 decisively. Listen, map four, if you watched it, it was a beating. That could have easily been a 100-point club.
Yeah.
The only one that shot back for New York on map four was Sid, and he had a 1 KD. You got everyone sitting else at a point 0.4, point 0.5, or a point 0.7.
Yep.
You're not going to beat a good team like that
Nope.
with those type of stats.
Especially
So,
when the
I
other team is
mean,
firing away.
yeah. I mean, they were talking about how Hasi, the map that Scrap couldn't play, and because he dropped like six against Optic, and now look at him dropping 1.69s and stuff. So, listen, I would say I wish it was closer, but it wasn't.
Yeah. No, I agree with everything you said. I like to highlight Hydra from the
Yeah,
Thieves because everyone was talking like, oh, he's not living up to what he
is
used to play. He's
yeah,
playing a little slow. He's not as good as he used to, and then he pops off. Like he went absolutely insane. He went 1.2 at the hard point. He went a .86 in the S&D, which I think he's a really good S&D player. So it's a little shocking. But when you have teammates like that, especially with Ghosty and Scrap, who are also amazing S&D players, you're not gonna shine all the time. But then in the
yeah.
control, he basically dropped almost a 2.0. So, but Hydra's one of my favorite players in the CDL, so I love to see him back to where he was. And if he can get back to that MVP status that he was, it's gonna
That's
be
gonna
a
be a tough team to play.
very hard team to beat, especially when you have Scrap and then Ghosty, who's a brainiac of the team. So I like to call him because he's just so intelligent when it comes into the game, and I like to see him break things down. So when you have those type of minds, and then you have Envoy, who's very scrappy and just does things that the team needs him to do, it's a hard team to beat, especially if they're all clicking on the same cylinders. It's gonna be tough. And
Yep.
like I said, my that was my favorite team to win besides FaZe, and I obviously had Toronto as the dark horse that I think if they can beat the Thieves, they pretty much should win the minor. But well, I mean, we'll see
Yeah.
tomorrow in the final day. But I just wanted to highlight Hydra because people have been talking a little smack about him. So, but
Yeah. I
yeah,
mean, listen, like I said, Saturday, tomorrow, Sunday, we'll probably crown the minor two champion, I would guess you would call it. I don't know.
yeah,
If you've been
minor
watching
two.
COD long enough, you know this is basically a 2K. But whatever. We got four teams left. Thieves, Carolina, Surge, Ultra.
Hmm.
Um, we got first match of the day looks like Thieves versus Ravens. Um, this I believe, I mean, I think these top four teams are great. I mean, listen, when you don't have Optic and FaZe, you probably think, oh, Thieves can easily win. I don't think so. I do still have them as the favorite to win, but I think if Carolina is playing anything like they played the day before, as today, I
Hmm.
think this is a great series to watch.
Yep.
But again, if Thieves come out like we know and love Thieves, this should be their series. They should be this should be their minor as well. But I do have Thieves winning this one 3-1, and then I'll go Surge versus Ultra. I think this one goes 3-2 to the Surge. I love
Oof.
the way the Surge been playing. I think they can capitalize on this momentum and take this into the next split, and then after this, take it to the next major. And then, like I said, I got Thieves winning. The Surge. Well, I got Thieves winning the minor, but I think they win. I don't know if they do. They still do best of five. Yeah, I s- I got the Thieves winning 3-1
Okay.
versus Vancouver. So I'll ask you the question. These are Ravens, map one. I mean, game one tomorrow. Sorry.
So I'm obviously gonna go with Thieves as well. Like I said, we've seen Thieves struggle sometimes when they aren't clicking. My only concern is that when they do struggle, they kind of fall off real fast.
Yeah.
But I don't see that happening against the Ravens, even though the Ravens have been playing well. But a Ravens is a kind of team that can throw you off because they play so well together.
Hmm.
So I mean, I'm still gonna go with these, but Ravens I think do pose a good threat to them because they are a really good team, and when they play so well oiled together, it's a hard team to beat because they're all scrappy, and
Yep.
no pun intended towards scrap, but they are all scrappy and they can get on your nerves, especially with Slasher in the back, and then you have everyone else kind of doing their thing. It's a tough team to beat too. And then for Ultra Surge, I kind of have to leave Ultra there, just because I think they're the dark horse of this last four teams, and I kind of see them. They might just pull it off and shock everyone, taking out if they can take out Seattle, but Vancouver. But like I said, Vancouver they just took out FaZe, so
Yeah.
they're kind of heads in the clouds right now. Not a pun to New York, but they are. I mean, if you beat the top team in the CDL and then you're going against Toronto, you're kind of feeling good right now. So
Hmm.
if I'm Toronto, I'm watching some extra film, and gonna see what they did against FaZe that took them off, that took them out that tournament, because it's obviously they're not to be slept on, you know. And
Definitely.
but yeah, I think both series are gonna be pretty good. I hope, honestly, I hope there are a couple 3-2s in there. I wouldn't mind that. But yeah, I mean, I think it's gonna beat these Toronto in the finals, and
Who you got?
I don't know. That's tough. I'm gonna say thieves. I think Hydra's finding his groove, and if he's doing that, is a tough team to beat.
Okay. I like the only thing we disagreed on was map two, game two.
Yep,
I
Seattle
got
Ultra.
Surge, you got Ultra.
Yep, we'll see. I was wrong the first day too, so we'll see.
Um, all right, looks like we're done with COD. That would wrap up the minor.
Shout out to everyone in the
And
chat before we get on to
yeah,
some
definitely.
some NFL news.
Yeah, we had some. Listen, March 1st, breaking news, man. Like, what the hell? Ain't a little too early for this. The draft ain't even started. We got trades happening.
Yeah, so I'll break it down for you, and then I'll ask you how you feel about it, since he's
Yeah.
coming to your division now, and Super Bowl winning champ Eagles division. So I want to know how you feel about Debo Samuel's going to the Washington Commanders for a fifth round draft pick. I want to know how you think that impacts the Commanders as a offensively, because they were good offensively last year and they just added up, I think, a big weapon. And
I
how do you
mean,
think this impacts your division?
honestly speaking, from a Giant standpoint, I don't care because I don't expect to win next year. I know we're god awful and we've been god awful for quite some time. So I won't sit here and lie to you. Um, I mean, listen, the Giants could do a couple things to make the team better, to make them more competitive. But when you add
Trust the process.
trust the process in the chat, yeah, we see that. Yeah, we need some process the Giants need. But honestly speaking, when you look at that Washington offense, let's just talk before Samuels. Points, yards per play, third down conversion, fourth down conversion, red zone scoring, touchdowns per game, all in the top 10.
Yeah, and that's why
All
it's
in the top
scary.
10. Like, and with Debo, I mean, he does it all. Like, he can line up, receiver, go in the backfield. Like, he does it all. So, and then you're talking with their rushing defense already. I mean, offense, sorry, all top 10 as well.
Yeah,
And you put him next to Scary Terry over there. Listen, man, I would say the sky's the limit. I think. Listen, the Cowboys are gonna get healthy. I mean, we listen. We all know the Cowboys. Listen, they're gonna start good, and
win the
everybody's
Super
gonna
Bowl.
get back on their high horse, talking like they just won the last 10 championships, bro. You haven't done nothing in a very long time. So I've seen 2 championships with the Giants. I haven't even seen the Cowboys come close. So I'm not worried. If I'm a Commanders fan, I'm not worried. I'm worried about them, but the team to beat right now is the Eagles.
Yeah,
We all know it. They just won the Super Bowl decisively. I think it's going to come down to those two teams. And again, it's football, so it's like any sport,
it's
but
one
in
and done.
football, it's exactly any given Sunday, anybody can win. But adding Debo with Scary Terry, it opens this playbook for Washington so much.
Yeah, I
So much with Debo. I mean, if you watch anything that he did with the 49ers and even bring a a quarter of that over to this Commanders team, they're gonna be so much better offensively.
Yeah, I think they actually became scarier than they were last year by so much. Just because you add someone, it's like you kind of have to pick your poison now. Like, are you gonna double him
Yeah,
underneath or over the top, but then leave Scary Terry on the other side? Is it's scary, especially that they do have a good run game as well. It's like
yeah.
I think their
With
offense.
Jaden McDaniels too. I didn't
Yeah,
even talk about him. I didn't even talk about quarterback play right now.
you don't have to. That
That
offense is stacked. So it's gonna
dude,
be
Jaden McDaniels
interesting.
is a dog, man.
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see if he can not have that sophomore slump everyone has apparently. Like it's a thing.
Yeah,
I don't think he will. I think he'll shine. That division, and like you said, is not crazy. There's some weak points in that division, but I think it's gonna be a 1-2 battle between the
yeah,
Commanders and the Eagles. I think the Cowboys might put up a fight, but I don't think they'll be remotely close. I think that maybe they'll be above a 500 team or a little bit above 500, and then I think the Eagles and the Commanders are gonna battle it out for that top spot in the East over there.
yeah. I mean, the only thing now left, honestly speaking, I mean, if there was another news, I can't remember the number straight off the top of my head. That the salary cap increased again in the NFL. Listen, right now, like I said, you get Debo. Really probably re-sign Zach Ertz for your tight end, or if you want to move in a younger direction or something like that. You still listen. You still got wide receiver, quarterback, running back is all good. Line is was pretty decent last year, and I think it will continue. If not, it's gonna get better. Like I said, that's a very offensive lineman is a very communicative, and once you get everybody pulling the same string in the same direction, it's very good. So shore up that defense. Resign. I mean, they got Bobby Wagner out there. He got a decent year, but listen, that get that defense a little bit better. Cornerback play. Listen, we want to get a pass rusher. I think that Commander team could get very, very scary against the Eagles. So listen, great move by them
Yeah, I
for
agree.
Washington. Great move.
I agree, and it was a fifth round pick, so it was nothing like
Yeah.
crazy valuable. But in football, all those draft picks are valuable, so you never know who they
Yeah.
could have gotten. But I mean, we'll see at the end of the day if it pays off. I think football is one of those sports that injuries is a big impact. So if they can stay
Hmm.
healthy on the field, I think they'll be pretty good and definitely a playoff contending team and in the playoffs and
Definitely.
definitely a threat to the Eagles for sure in that East. But
Yeah.
but
They got listen. They got a change. They got a window right now to win a championship, and they got to take advantage of it.
yeah,
Before you pay Jaden McDaniels, you gotta win a ring. Because once you pay him, there's no Debo Samuel's point 2.0 coming anymore because you got to give him 20-30 million dollars or even
right.
40. That's why them Chiefs won all those championships early with Patty Mahomes. Now that they paid him, it's kind of hard to structure a roster around. I mean, they're still making this a Super Bowl, but it ain't it wasn't the 40-0 wins or 40 or 50 point. Every Chiefs games this year, if you watch the Chiefs, they were close.
Right.
So listen,
All right.
what we got next, man?
Going into some, like I
Debo.
said, some WWE. So we're something we didn't express in our intro when we introduced ourselves. We're huge WWE fans, wrestling fans in general. So this is what we mean by we can kind of tap into everything. Today was the Elimination Chamber for y'all that don't know. So I'm gonna give you a little spoiler alert now. So if you're watching now, you don't want to be spoiled. Let's come back in about like 10, 15 minutes.
Close your
If you're
ears,
if you're
man.
on the live stream, just fast forward a little bit. But like my man Harvey Dent said in Batman, if you either die a hero or you live long enough to see yourself become the villain. And the reason I say that, spoiler alert again, is the
Close your
unthinkable
ears.
happened is what me and E wanted to happen so long ago in this man's career is John Cena goes heel for the first time in a long time. So if you guys missed it, John Cena wins the men's elimination chamber, beating Punk for the final man after some interference with Seth Rollins after he got eliminated. A little upset at the moment, and then Cody Rhodes comes out. They do a whole spiel with The Rock. I don't want to get into all the nitty and gritty, but he doesn't take The Rock's deal. He tells him to f off. He said it on the PLE, and he was like, "Oh my God,
He said
he
it.
said it." So
I ain't never, bro. Crazy.
I'm like, it's a PLE. They can say that, I think, but
They
he does.
can, but listen, man. You can do a lot of things. They're on Netflix now. They could be saying Seth effing Rollins, but they don't say it. They say Seth
Right.
freaking
Yeah.
Rollins. So I'm like,
Yeah.
all right.
So we kind of all saw that coming. I didn't see Cody Rhodes taking the deal with The Rock. But what we didn't see coming was
Listen, although I would have liked heel Cody Rhodes,
yeah,
heel
yeah,
Cody Rhodes is very, very good because he's very good on the mic too. But I didn't expect him to take it like you said. But continue.
yeah. I didn't expect to take it. I think it's too early in Cody's championship reign to flip that script right now, and he's the top, obviously the top baby face,
Hmm.
with Roman, being in and out for other stuff. But yeah, I
Yeah,
didn't see Cena going low blow there, and
me neither.
he got violent. It was like chain gang Cena all over again, and I was hyped.
The doctor of thugonomics,
Yeah,
man.
he's back. He bloodied him up,
Yeah, man.
foot on his head. It was crazy. I did not see that coming.
Listen, like again, it's something we talked about us wanting to happen for years. Like, can he ever do it? And it was like there was like a report that he was gonna come back with a heel like about 6, 7 years ago, and then they scrapped it last minute. It's like, nah, bro, you're John Cena.
Yeah,
Like, you think John Cena, man? Like, listen, a lot of like I disliked him most of my days because I don't know. He said he finally took his Fast and Furious role serious. Not dead ass. But like, bro, it's John Cena. Like we said, it's the baby face. This guy's on Make a Wish. This guy's made the most Make a Wish wishes of all time.
yep,
So for him to ever change heel, I mean, from face to heel, is come like it's almost like that's a fantasy.
yeah, and
And
then
then you finally see it, and the way it was done, though, like it was beautifully told, beautiful writing. It was great, man. But let's talk about the match, man.
that was a good
I,
match.
it was a great match. Listen, if we talk about the whole PLE, it was kind of you kind of knew what was gonna happen, right? And that's okay. Sometimes when you know what's gonna happen, it's okay that it still happens, and then you get the last shock at the very end.
Hmm.
So,
Like I said, I was upset when he won because I wanted Punk to get his
yeah,
dang final WrestleMania main event, but obviously it's not gonna happen now. But for that to happen at the end, especially during Cena's retirement tour, for that to happen
yeah.
is kind of like you're going out
You're
like
going
that, huh?
heel.
you're going.
You're going bad boy Pistons on your last year.
Yeah, so
All right,
I was hyped to
buddy.
see this. I'm hyped to see where they take it. I'm hyped to see where Cena could take it because obviously we haven't seen him heel in so long. So I'm hyped to see new theme song, maybe new clothes. Maybe not. We don't get George Cena anymore. We get some actual jeans or some wrestling tights. I don't know what he's gonna wear. But it's gonna be exciting to see where John Cena could take it. We all know he's great on the mic, so
Yeah.
I'm excited to see where he can go with that since he's heel now. I want to see
Listen,
what
man.
his reasoning might be to team up with The Rock and go heel.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, I want to see that too. But I think we're less than a month. Yeah, we're less than a month away from WrestleMania. I need to see him full time, man.
yeah,
Like, listen, I know he out there making movies and everything. I need to see you on these shows next couple weeks, man. I need to really see it. Um, but flip side, let's talk about the loser in CM Punk. Listen, we both love CM Punk, man. We both wanted him to win. I almost thought he was gonna win. I don't. It leaves CM Punk kind of in a weird position because now it's like, does he go fight Seth Rollins again? And does Roman come back? Do they have a triple threat match? I'm not. He has this favor, so it's like I'm waiting to see what it is, when it finally ever is gonna happen. Are they gonna wait for SummerSlam for CM Punk? And then we get like what we got, what, 10 years ago, 11 years ago, that where CM Punk versus Cena at SummerSlam if Cena beats Cody, which I do want to see Cena beat Cody. I think a heel listen, anytime the heel is the champion and the face has to go grab it, I think that's the best storyline ever.
Right.
For me, sometimes when the face is the champion, it gets a little too played out. So I think heel Cena being great on the mic, I think that's gonna be great. And I think faced CM Punk going against a heel John Cena is almost like reversed.
Yep.
And it's crazy to think about that Cena could leave with the championship almost how CM Punk did
Right.
years ago. And that could happen again. Like it's listen, right now for the men's side, for the championship side, sky's the limit.
Yep. I agree. That I mean
I'm getting
that was the only frustrating thing about CM Punk losing. It's kind of like, what do you do with him now?
yeah,
Like we all know, he's getting older in age. He probably doesn't have that much years left. He's just old. Okay, like he's
yeah,
not one of those superstar freaks in WWE that can go like 40 and 50 years old, like the Randy Ortons of the world and the John Cena's of the
yeah,
world and people like that. He's just getting up there in age, and I think they'll miss an opportunity here come shortly if he doesn't get that championship run or that WrestleMania main event, which will
yeah.
kind of suck. But I mean, other than that, that's the only thing that I was disappointed in. Besides on the men's side, and then
Let's
before
go
that we
to
had I believe it was Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn in that unsanctioned match. I think
yeah,
it's called
yeah. I mean, listen, great match. I mean, like I
basically a
said,
hardcore match.
yeah, pretty much. But yeah, literally, barbed wire steel chair.
Yeah.
Ow. It was a great match. Listen, anytime those two guys go at it, I mean, like I said, they grew up pretty much in the wrestling business together. They've done this before.
Right.
Listen, this could be a main event of a WrestleMania, and I'll watch it. These two guys, anytime they step in the ring together or against each other, it's gonna be great. Like I said, these guys know each other. The chemistry is off the charts.
Yep.
So, like going into that match, I already expected a banger, and I got a banger. And then let's talk about who came out after Randy, goddamn Orton.
Yep.
I mean, listen, I don't think this PLE missed, man.
Yeah, it was great. Up and down.
Yeah, yeah, like I keep trying to find like a low point in this PLE, but I don't think there was, man.
Oh, I
Like
agree.
that match was great. You go the match before that was it the tag team?
Yeah, it was Tiffy Time and Trish Stratus, so it's great to see her back always, and she
Yeah.
still got it. And then it was against Nia Jax and Candice LeRae.
Yeah.
I mean, that match was good. It wasn't great by any measure. It wasn't bad by any measure. It was a good match. Obviously, it's always good to see Trish back in the ring. I
In her
hope
hometown
right, and
with
then
Drake and Nav in there and you got all
and
Canada over
Travis
there. I was
Scott over there.
yeah.
But it's good. Always good to see Trish back, especially with Tiffany Stratton, who they kind of give her that comparison a lot online. I mean, I kind of
Yeah.
see it, but I think she's more of a wrestler than Trish was.
Yeah, she's a lot she's very athletic. This girl
Yeah,
does like backflips and front flips. I'm like, what the, you
yeah,
know?
yeah.
She like Trish and Lita.
Combined.
Besides the breaking of the neck, like knock on some wood because you wouldn't want that. But
Right.
she's very athletic. Like I said, good match. If there was a low point, this was it. But like again, if this is your low point, I think you're good.
Yeah,
This
I
is a
agree.
good match. Nice to see Trish taking bumps out there,
Mm-hmm.
doing the Stratisfaction from the top rope. I got scared. Like, hello, lady, relax. Tiffany Stratton over there, spine buster Nia Jax. I was like, God damn, okay,
Yeah, she's kind
this
of
girl's
strong.
strong.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
She don't
So,
look
like I
strong, but
said,
she definitely is.
yeah. So listen, good match.
Yeah.
I think everyone performed great. And honestly speaking, what I thought kind of was the match of the night, the women's elimination chamber.
Yeah.
Um,
It started off as a
eh,
banger.
yeah. But before we get into anything like a winner of any or anything like that, Liv Morgan is putting on an absolute show every time she's out there.
Yeah.
I know she was the loser today, but goddamn, she's so good. But Bianca Belair winning.
Yep. Kinda saw
Um,
it.
kind of saw it. Yeah, I mean, once the last two were Bianca and Liv, I was like, okay, they can't do Liv versus Rhea again. I don't listen. I would never mind those two, but you don't want consecutively going back and forth with the same two people. But Like I said, listen, you get Rhea and Bianca WrestleMania. Listen, I think that's very good. I like 95% sure EO will beat Rhea unless some miracle happens. But listen, Bianca versus Rhea Ripley at WrestleMania is going to be great. The part of me wanted Alexa Bliss to win,
Same.
but listen, we all can't be Charlotte Flair and just walk into a championship, huh?
Yep. No, definitely cannot be. But yeah, definitely the main, I think the main focus of that match was when Jade came back, Jade Cargill,
Oh
and she
yes.
takes out Naomi before the match even begins, where she kind of
Hmm.
faked out Liv, and Liv was like, "Don't hit me," but then she just beat the crap out of Naomi and basically
Yep.
just took her out the match so fast. And then Bianca obviously was in there screaming not to do it or whatever. But I feel like that's leading up to a match between the two. I feel like
Hmm.
at WrestleMania, Jade is gonna cost her somehow. Not sure how or why, but I feel like something in that is gonna lead up to them fighting somewhere down the line, which is kind of is what
Yeah.
everyone wants anyways. And then they became a tag team, so it kind of got put on hold, and then she got hurt. But I feel like that's where it's gonna lead up to, where it's gonna be Bianca versus Jade somewhere down the line. Whether it's,
Yeah.
I don't see it, can't be at this WrestleMania. Obviously, I don't think they hold out for next year either. So it's gonna probably be like a SummerSlam thing maybe. But
Yeah.
that's where I see the women's division going. So I think Bianca ends up not winning at WrestleMania, whoever she fights over there.
Isn't she undefeated though? Or is it Rhea Ripley that's undefeated?
At some
They
at
no, no, I'm no, they both might be undefeated in their WrestleMania careers.
well, Willem's losing.
I think they're both like 3-0 or 4-0, something like that. So, and if you take everything away, these are kind of like your biggest two faces in the division.
Yeah, so that's why I was a little confused about it, but
So, yeah, I mean, but I think that's listen, at the end of the day, like we see it all the time now. There's like in betweens now. Like there's like good guys and bad guys, but lately it's been like, I'm just this week, and the next week you come in, I'm the bad guy, I'm the good guy, and it's just like because like CM Punk is a face technically, but CM Punk talks still like a heel.
right. I mean, I think it's just natural.
Yeah, Seth Rollins, same thing. Like Seth Rollins is a good guy, but then he's over here curve stomping CM Punk after the match is over, acting like a heel. So it's like, I- you know, listen, sometimes you got to throw the face and the heel and just put on a banger. And
Yep.
that's what WWE did tonight. So excited to see Monday EO versus Rhea Ripley, see who wins that one. And like I said, I got Rhea winning, but I think they're gonna put on a banger too. Listen, I think every woman in this division is been putting on absolute bangers lately.
Yeah.
And shout out to Roxanne Perez, man. She coming straight up from NXT. She
23
was on
years old.
Raw, SmackDown, NXT last week, and then this past week, and then came onto a PLE and still wrestled. So
Yeah, she's definitely gonna be one of the future superstars here coming up soon.
yeah, definitely.
But yeah,
Um,
let's get into some NBA action. We can just quickly go
yeah.
around some of the scores in here. There's some games that really kind of don't matter, but
Washington won a game. Yo,
against the Hornets. Oh, oh, exciting!
damn, who's really tanking for Cooper Flag now, huh?
Right, the matchup for the tank there. But I'll just go over the
Yeah.
top performers for each team. You had Chris Middleton, top performer for the Wizards there. He had 17 points, 5 rebounds, 6 assists with 2 steals. And then you had Mark Williams for the Hornets with 24 points, 12 rebounds, 3 assists, 1 steal, 2 blocks. So, and then the Wizards
Um,
won 113 at 100.
yeah, I mean, like you said, not a lot to speak about in this game. No playoff aspirations for any of these teams this year. I like Koulibaly, um dropping 17 as well. I mean, listen, at this point, get your young bucks in there,
Yep.
let them get some run, let them get some confidence, see what the NBA really is like, and just keep going like that. You guys both want to lose. I don't know why you're playing Chris Middleton. You should be resting him so that you could trade him in the offseason. But hey, listen, if you want to win some games and take you out of top five, because this draft is good. so be it.
They're trying to show him off a little bit. Be like, look, he still got it.
Probably. I mean, but sometimes you don't want to win these games. But we'll move on to the next game.
Chris
Detroit
magically hurts
versus the
collects
Nets.
31
I
mil.
mean, listen, Chris magically hurts, collects 31 mil this year. You're probably right. That's exactly. I would send him home. Thank you, Javier Cisco over there. We move over to Detroit versus Brooklyn. Listen, Brooklyn isn't playing for much right now. They're tanking. They're letting their young guys play.
I mean, I don't even.
Pistons are on a absolute rampage,
Yep.
and I love it.
Yeah.
I mean, listen, they're beating the teams that they're supposed to beat. So they continue on this path. Give me 1 second. They need to continue on this path, and right now they're playing great. Everyone is playing great on this team.
Yeah.
Shout out Cade Cunningham. Listen, I love the way he plays because he's not like uber athletic, but he's gonna give you buckets. I really like Cade, man. So
Yeah. They're rolling.
anything, yeah,
So it's good to see Detroit, finally playing good and in the playoff contention. I think they're in the sixth seed right now, so it's awesome to see that. And like you said, everyone's contributing. It's not a one man show. I mean, they had multiple people over 15 and multiple people over 10 points in this game. And like you said, even if you look at the rebounds, it's like you have Tobias Harris rebound. He had 9. Thompson had 5. Durant had 11. Cunningham had 7. So they're all contributing in different ways. And it's when a team is playing like that and they all have confidence in each other to rebound the ball, pass the ball, assist the ball, put the ball in the hoop. It's good to see, and especially coming from a team like Detroit who hasn't been good in recent years,
yep,
and they're kind of just rolling. It's awesome. That's the thing
yeah.
about I like to see. Kate
Um,
Kate MIPE. What do you think?
nah, nah. For me, it's hard to give it to someone who's already averaged 20 plus, and then now he just added 2 points to his scoring average, a little more efficiently, like a marginal. I wouldn't give him MIP.
Mm-hmm.
Um, listen, I think their roster is very good.
And
I
they're
just
young.
feel like everyone's kind of playing their role slowly. You know, Malik Beasley, Dennis Schroeder are your two veterans coming off the bench. Tobias Harris, who the 76ers were killing, that this guy couldn't ball anymore. And listen, sometimes you got to get out of a system
Yep.
to succeed, and especially if a system that's very Tyrese and Joel and just pick and roll with them too. Listen, I think this team is very good constructively together. Listen, they're 11-4 in their last 15. So listen, you don't go 11-4 because you're a bad team. You don't do it by mistake. You don't wake up and like, oh, let's play basketball and just be good. No, this is a team effort, day in and day out. Like even like you said tonight, like there wasn't a 20-point scorer on their team. Three guys had 18, one guy had 15, another guy had 13, and Tim Hardaway had 9. Ron Holland off the bench had 10. Like this was a team
Yep.
performance. I mean, it comes at the expense of a bad Brooklyn team, but at the end of the day, you had to beat the bad teams too.
Yep. Sometimes you sit your stars against those teams and you kind of end up losing. It kind of hurts, which kind of.
Yeah.
But yeah, we can move on to the next game. It was Spurs and Grizzly. It was a close one there. Uh, De'Aaron Fox ends up hitting the game winner. Hit a 20-footer
Oh,
with 2.6 seconds left in the game to beat the Grizzlies, and it was a big night for Jaren Jackson Jr. He dropped 42 with
yeah.
4 rebounds, 2 assists, 2 steals, 2 blocks. And then on the Spurs side, Stephon Castle was the highlight player for me. He had 24, 3 rebounds, 7 assists, 1 steal. I mean, without Victor and you're beating the Grizzlies, they're fourth in the West right now.
Yeah. I mean, even without Ja playing, you as a Grizzlies team, you should handle business without Ja.
Mm-hmm.
Um, like you said, there's no Wemby. This Spurs team is a very young team as well. Like you literally just said this 2 minutes ago. Sometimes you sit your stars and you lose games, and it kind of hurts.
Yep.
This hurts for Memphis.
Yeah.
Not in a huge way, as in they might miss the playoffs, but again, take care of the teams you need to take care of, man. And they didn't do that. So
And now I mean, would a win here, they would have been second place in the West. I mean, that's how close it is. And
yeah,
you're losing to a Spurs team that's currently sitting outside the play-in, and that's not something you want to do. You need to win these games to solidify you don't verse like a scary team like Golden State coming out the play-in, which I keep trying to say you want to duck them because they're playing very well and it's a scary team in the playoffs, especially
yeah,
with Jimmy buckets and not beating a team without a Victor Wembanyama. It's gonna hurt them, and I feel like that could factor in how late they run into the playoffs, even with Ja.
hmm
Is teams like this you have to beat. In the
yeah,
absence, if you do
100%,
want to sit your stars, you have to win games like this. Like I understand if it was like another playoff team, but you can't be losing to a Spurs team without their best player. No disrespect to
100%.
De'Aaron Fox, but he's not the best player on the Spurs.
He's not. I mean, right now, maybe, but
Yeah,
and that, like you said, that win takes them out, tied for second. If they win, that puts them against the Clippers.
yeah,
With that loss, if the playoffs started today, that with
right.
that loss, that puts them against the Rockets, and the Rockets have been just as scary as the Pistons of late.
And speaking
So
about the Rockets, they,
there we go.
they lost their game too. So it's like again, the Kings are in playoff hunt. Tough, tough to swallow. Sabonis did get hurt in that game with a hamstring injury. He didn't
Yep.
he didn't come back, so that's a bit tough pill to swallow there for the Kings there. Uh,
Yeah. I mean, to your point, that hurts, but I mean, I see the Kings going into the play-in.
hmm
But I don't see them coming out of the play-in since trading Darian Fox. I still got the Timberwolves and Mavericks being better teams. But again, them losing is not good because who knows, maybe the Suns remember how to play basketball as a team again. So they can get hot and kind of take the Kings out of it. But like I said, constructed right now, I mean, them, Timberwolves, Mavericks, and Suns kind of in the hunt. Everybody else, I mean, Blazers are there, but Blazers not gonna do much. But yeah, I mean, another game that kind of sucks to lose if you're Houston, but great win for the Kings. I mean, staying in that playing area. But like I said, I mean, this was again another team win.
right,
De'Aaron with 20. Sorry, not De'Aaron. DeMar with 21. Levine with 20. I mean, Levine since coming over, he's been very good.
right,
Um, and for me, it's not just scoring. He's been very efficient too with it. And so that's been one of my sometimes at with Levine is like, okay, you're scoring, but are you efficient? So yeah,
right.
I mean,
I
30
agree.
from Sagun though. Shagun, sorry, not Sagun. Next game was the Bucks versus Dallas.
Yep,
Um, said this on the podcast before. Mavericks are banged up. They got to scrap and claw these wins. Some of these wins, this is not a win that you were gonna get. Respectfully speaking, you're versing a better team with one of the best players on the planet, and that's Giannis. Giannis with 29, Damian Lillard with 28, and then off the bench, Gary Trent with 20. Um, listen, Giannis and the Bucks handled the a team that they're supposed to beat,
yep,
and that's what it comes down to. Uh,
yep.
I mean, there's really not much to say outside of that. Kyrie, 31, fighting for his life on that court. But
I mean,
that
like you said,
puts,
the Bucks
yeah.
did what they had to do. They don't have AD. If they have
Yep.
AD, it's a different story. It's kind of a toss up there. But knowing that they don't have AD, that's a team you have to beat, especially when
Hmm.
you're trying to fight for a top seed in that East, which is kind of close up there. You need to win games like this when their top players aren't playing, and without AD on the Mavericks, and like you said, the Mavericks are dealing with a ton of injuries for the big men's. So
Yeah.
for the Bucks, if they would have lost, I would have not understood it because they don't have a big man that can stop Giannis, so it would have been really
Nope.
confusing. But obviously, without Lively, without AD, without Gafford, I didn't see the Bucks losing this. So it's good to see that they actually won a game that they're supposed to, and not following the trends of losing to teams. that you're supposed to beat.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, there's not much to talk about there. Kyrie, Giannis do their thing, and Bucks come out on top.
Yeah. Like you nail on the head. They're only 5 games back from the Knicks, so we kind of got tighten it up a little bit. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
So, um,
And
yeah. I mean, outside of that, not much really to speak about in that game. Then we're
talking.
talking about the scary Warriors, and then the
Uh huh.
scary Warriors got lit up
But
by Joel Embiid. No, by Tyrese. No, Paul George. No, goddamn Quentin Grimes, bro. What the?
I,
Where was this with the Knicks?
he must have put in a parlay for himself to drop over 40 or something because I did not see coming. I thought it was an error or something, and I was like, who dropped 44? And then I looked again, and I was like, is that name right? They misplaced it with Maxi or something? But yeah, 44 points.
What in the Space Jam, bro? What the?
Yeah, and it's crazy because he shot very efficient. He shot
6 for
18,
9 from three, bro.
and then 18 from 24 is insane. I mean, if that's happening, I mean, I would hope you win, right? Because I don't have anything to say, but congrats to Quentin
It's
Dry dropping
literally,
44. I mean, the Warriors didn't play bad. Curry, he had a good game as well. He dropped basically
yeah,
29, 30 points.
100%.
I mean,
Jimmy
Butler
Butler
didn't play.
doesn't
Yeah,
play. Yeah, Jimmy Butler doesn't play. So does that factor in Quentin Grimes scoring 44? No.
I hope not. But
Quentin Grimes should not drop 44. I watched this man play with the Knicks. Should not be dropping 44.
yep,
But not honestly speaking, I'm super excited for him. I love this team that he's on now. I loved him with the Knicks. I really think that Quentin Grimes could be a good to great 3-and-D player.
right.
For him, it's just all about consistency of play and confidence. I was really high on Quentin Grimes with the Knicks. I I feel like he could have been in a sense of almost like Mikal Bridges is for them now, like a 3-and-D guy, but a little shorter. I really love his game. He doesn't if you ever watch him, he does never try to do too much.
Right.
So I'm honestly speaking, I love that for him. And I'm excited that he's getting a lot of time to play consistently. I mean, you saw him with that Mavericks early in the year. He was really, really starting to take some good strides, and now listen, I don't think he's gonna drop 44 every night, but it's good to see. And it's great for his confidence.
Yeah, I
And I
agree.
really, really hope he takes that next step for being a 3-and-D guy in this league because he could be very good. He has a very good motor, very good energy on the court. He's everywhere. He will guard your best ball handler, and he's not scared to do it. So
Yeah, I
I'm very
mean,
excited for Quentin Grimes.
yeah, I agree, and especially on the side of Philly, who's been battling injuries this whole time. They're currently at 11 in the East. No one saw that coming at the start of the year. They're right outside the three. They're 3 games behind the Bulls. You would have told me that at the start of the season, I would have called BS. But that's where they are now, so it's good to see them winning. Obviously, the Sixers in the playoffs is always good for basketball. Are they gonna get
They
there? It's gonna be tough because
listen,
the Bulls are
they're
playing some good ball too.
yeah. Listen, if I'm a 76er fan, and Philly might not like that I'm saying this, lose. That's it. Lose. Your draft pick is top six protected, and if it falls underneath six, it goes to the 76. I mean to OKC.
We don't want
Joel
them.
Embiid has already been yeah, exactly. Joel Embiid has already been ruled out for the year. Oh man, it it sucks for the game not seeing a top 2 to 3 center in the league. I mean, I'll put him in two right next to Jokic. When healthy, I put him probably, honestly speaking, listen, A and B, whatever.
Yeah,
You can argue that because Jokic don't play defense. Joel Embiid plays decent amount of defense, but Joel Embiid doesn't rebound the ball as good as Joker. So listen,
yeah,
whatever. Um, listen, it would suck if his career starts to take a real bad downturn because of his knee injuries. Um, like like the body is a tree, so if the knee hurts, it's just gonna keep going down, 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 down.
yep,
So I really hope he can get healthy back on the floor. It kind of sucks for the NBA and Philly because Philly's man. If you ever been to Philly, any of those stadiums, they're literally right next to each other, and those
yeah,
fans are insane.
yeah.
So
I
hopefully he
agree.
gets good.
Yeah, and then on the
Um,
flip side for Golden State,
yeah,
it they win this game, they're easily right back out of the play-in. They're in sixth place, and they don't have to do
yep,
the play-in. They would be right above the Clippers right now, but them losing this game keeps them in that seventh hole in the play-in, which the play-in anything can happen. Like you don't want
of
to take
course.
those risks if you're a Golden State Warrior fan, and you would love to see them again beat teams they're supposed to beat. This is one of those teams
Yep.
without an Embiid and Maxi didn't play well at all, is a team you have to beat, and unfortunately they don't. So they still sit in the seventh seed. I mean, they're still in the playoffs, yes, but you would want that certainty that you don't have to play that one game and possibly lose and then get booted out the playoffs where one game, like you
Yeah,
see Quentin Grimes just drop 44, that can happen in the play-in. And that's something you
yeah.
want to avoid. You want to give yourself that chance to have a series in that. So I think they do pick it up once they get fully healthy. The Warriors do. But
Hmm.
again, these are not the games you want to lose. You'd rather lose a game like this against a top team. And
100%.
but yeah, they end up losing. They stay in that seventh seed.
Yeah. I mean, we said it the podcast before. Best time for the NBA. There's about give or take 23 games left for some teams, 24 for some other teams. About 20, yeah, 23, 24. Listen, it's gonna keep getting better. These blowout games that we saw a month ago, these games should all be getting down to the nitty-gritty. Especially for these close, compact playing teams that are either there right now that want to jump out of it in terms of getting into the sixth seed, and for the lower seed teams to get there. So like I said, basketball is getting very exciting. Um, we have, I'm pretty sure, if I'm not mistaken, a pretty decent slate tomorrow. Yeah, we have a lot of teams playing tomorrow. And then the nightcap tomorrow is, if I'm not mistaken, I might be mistaken. I was gonna say Clippers versus the Lakers, but it's OKC versus the Spurs, unfortunately, because there's no Wemby. But I mean, it is what it is. But like
Yeah.
I said, tomorrow's gonna be a good NBA day. We're gonna have a lot of games. So, hey, we have that. We have the COD finals tomorrow as well, minor finals. So tomorrow's gonna be a nice little day, nice little chill day, you
Yep.
know?
Yep. Yep. So that now, since we're done with some NBA action, we can go into some baseball now. We're gonna run over some AL and NL Central teams. Last podcast we did the East, the AL, and the NL East. So we're gonna tackle the NL AL Central.
Yes,
Um,
sir.
but yeah, we're just gonna run down the teams if they made any acquisitions. We'll run down, we'll review those if it was a good move or not, or if they just did it, and then we'll go over kind of predictions and see where we see this team standing there, and see if any team got better, worse, or everything kind of stayed the same. Um,
Yeah.
if you want to talk about the first team, we'll tackle on here.
Yes, sir. So first team, I mean, listen, let's cut the fat out of the steak and you get the steak, the good part. So fat out of the steak will be the White Sox.
Who?
Listen, once I would say about 5 years ago, this team was like the one and up and coming team, and
Yeah,
then
they're.
everything went left.
I mean,
These guys were stacked from pitching to hitters. That Eloy, Tim Anderson, Luis Robert, Yohan Moncada. These guys were stacked. And then now they're winning what, 44 games,
yeah, I don't.
41 games, sorry, last year.
Their fall off has to be studied because they were such a good team.
Bro,
Like
they're bringing Tony La Russa.
I still remember the Tim Anderson walk off in the corner of the field game against the Yankees,
Yeah.
and that was epic. Watching it, even though we lost, I was just like, damn. And Tim Anderson was like a top shortstop in the league, and then the whole team just fell apart, and everyone just sucked. The whole team sucked. They
Yeah.
traded everyone left, and I was just, I don't even know who they have there. That's exciting to see.
I mean, the one guy that they had was exciting. They traded, and that's Garrett Crochet.
Yeah, he's gone.
So, I mean, listen, like we said, mm, we'll talk about some things that they did, but
He didn't do
they didn't do
much.
much. Um, Signed a couple guys to 1-year contracts. They didn't really touch anything. No like big acquisitions. At this point right now, you kind of want to rebuild on what you had. Not you don't want to build on what you had. Sorry, you kind of just want to build through the draft, build through international signings and everything like that. Kind of what you did, and then you traded it for James Shields, aka Fernando Tatis Jr. Don't do that again. So listen, you hope to God the guys that you got for Garrett Crochet pan out
Yep.
in a year or two maybe, but everything else just hey keep losing,
Yeah.
man. Figure it out.
Yeah, I think for the White Sox, the last thing they should do is trade Luis Robert. He has so much upside. They were talking about him like he was the next Trout. I mean, when
Yeah,
when he's healthy, he's awesome. He can hit, he can run, he can play defense. If I'm them, I'd trade him now, before it's too late. You don't want him to drop off or get hurt or whatever. So if I'm them, I trade him this season. I do expect them to trade him this season. To which team is the question mark? I'm not sure. But I think any team that does pick up Luis Robert and you can slot him into it like a 2, 2, 3 hitter, even bat him lead off, I think he helps any team immediately because he's just that good and he's
hmm
still young, which I think is why they should trade him now because they have so much. The team getting him will have so much control that you can
yeah,
require so much for him. Like, hey, he hasn't even hit that 6 year mark. But
100%.
yeah, I mean that's all I
I
have for the White
100%
Sox.
agree. I pretty much same thing. I mean, they didn't really do much. I don't know if they're waiting for value to go up higher just to see that, hey, he's healthy. That could be one thing, but honestly, as soon as you feel like his price is at the point that you think, I think you strike a deal. There's no reason to keep him there. I mean, like you said, the contract is good, still under rookie contract.
Yep.
Not really paying him much. He's been kind of hurt here and there. He could play center. You could probably at this point probably move him to left or right.
Yeah, I
Get
think.
as much as you can.
Yeah,
Get these prospects, but again, we don't like again, prospects are not given. We see the number one prospect turn into
nothing.
nothing sometimes. So if you're gonna do it, do it. And just hopefully you can build off of the players that you get, like you did with Garrett Crochet.
Yeah, I think they have to trade him by the trade deadline. If they don't, it's just dumb. You're just gonna keep a superstar in your team just for ticket sales that probably won't even sell, because your team is gonna be terrible. Like your pitching is awful. There's nothing, there's nothing on the White Sox going on except rebuilding, and that's fine. Just if you're gonna
Yep.
rebuild, do it right. Trade Robert somewhere else. Get a whole bunch of draft picks or up and come in, get some minor leaguers, and you'll be good. You're not gonna be good in a year or two. It's gonna take a couple years, but I mean, you're just gonna have to do what you gotta do, and then attract some free agents, which are some of your young stars. And right now, Luis Robert isn't that kind of star yet.
Yeah. 100% agree. Moving through the AL Central, we're moving upwards to a team who finished 82. Sorry, White Sox finished 41 and 121. I don't know if I said that.
It's at
Maybe I just want
44,
to say it
but
again. Yeah, whatever. I was trying to give them an extra 3 wins. They need it, okay? So the Twins who finished the year off 82 and 80. Um, I would say this, with the Twins to end last year, they got Correa back,
right,
and he looked like the player from Houston.
right,
Um, and honestly speaking, listen, when it comes to the Twins, they could be a very good team. They,
right.
honestly speaking, could probably be the best team in this division, but it all comes down to, are they healthy?
Yep.
I'm gonna name some names for you. Carlos Correa, can he stay healthy? Royce Lewis, can he stay healthy? And you know the third thing I'm gonna say, Byron Buxton, can he stay healthy?
Yep.
Because if those three stay healthy, with the addition of Ty France,
Yep. I was just about
uh,
to say I don't. They picked up a big bat there.
um, this offense could be good, very, very, very good.
Yep.
They picked up Bader as well to play center, help out with some defense. But we've seen Bader string along some good offense as well. when he was with the Yankees, and he can really get hot. He could be a great defender for you as well,
Yeah.
and give Buxton these days off on like he could play designated hitter. So listen, as Cisco saying, Byron can't walk without being hurt. He made of paper and glass.
I agree.
Shrink wrap him, bubble wrap him, get him out of there.
I
But
think you
like
just throw him
like I
at the
said,
DH spot, to be honest.
yeah, put him in a DH spot. Don't steal no bases, man. One base at a time. I mean, listen, your closer, Joan Duran, your best relievers, Griffin Jacks.
Yep.
Your Listen, your rotation is decent. You got Paulo Lopez, yeah, Joe Ryan. I love Joe Ryan. Like, I had him as a dark horse to win Cy Young last year. I mean, it
Yep.
didn't happen, obviously. And then Bailey Ober. I mean, we've seen him kind of had a good game and then a bad game, and then it's just finding middle ground for him. Seeing with Chris Paddock if he could ever come back to what he was with the Padres, and
That
then
that
Simon
first
Woods
year.
Richardson. Exactly. So listen, good team. Listen, good offense.
Yeah, man. I think this is one of those
Yeah,
teams that, like you said, if they can stay healthy, it seems to be that they're always top players are always the ones that can't stay healthy.
yeah.
But I feel like if those top players can stay healthy for at least majority of the season, they can at least be a wild card team.
Mm-hmm.
I don't see them winning the division. The other teams
Mm-mm.
are just too good. But if they do stay healthy, I think we can have the conversation of them winning the division because they are a good team on paper. But again, it's just those ifs, and those ifs outweigh everything else on this team because we just haven't seen it done consistently with any of the players that we talked about, and it's very
Yeah,
unfortunate because they are like really good players. Like Buxton can be an MVP type of player, and we know what
yeah,
Correa can give you. So, I mean, we'll see where they go at least by the All-Star break if they're healthy. But like you said, if they're healthy, they'll be a really good team. But I don't think they track record don't show too well with them. So I think at best they'll be a playoff team. I mean a wild card team if that.
yeah,
But yeah, if they can stay healthy, I think they can contend. But I don't think either of us see that happening. And like there's just too many question marks on the and on that rotation as well.
yeah. Um, yeah. It just literally comes down to health. I think we both agree their ceiling will probably be wild card.
Hmm.
Um, we can get into honestly speaking the team that I want to say think the team well second team that I think will probably start 1 and 2. I think the Guardians might lose this division, but we'll get that into that later. And that's the Detroit Tigers.
Okay.
Um, Listen, I am absolutely excited to see this team play. Sorry, they added, they didn't even add, they re-added Jack Flaherty after trading him to the Dodgers. They get him on a 2-year deal back. They go and get some Yankees, Tommy Kahnle and Gleyber Torres. And man, this team, I mean, you heard so much that they were in on Bregman. I that would have been a nice fit. I mean, Boston gets Bregman, but well, anytime you could add Jack Flaherty back into a rotation next to
Scoob.
yeah, Tariq Skubal, and then you had Kahnle, who had a fantastic year with the Yankees. I mean, the man just throws changeups all day, but whatever. And then listen, you had a hungry Glaber, 1-year contract. He's hungry. Glaber's a good hitter. He didn't
Yeah.
show it last year until the very end. So if you're a Tiger fan, you just want Glaber to kind of capitalize and kind of take what he did in the second half of the year and bring him and in the playoffs too and bring it into a whole full season. Glaber has some untapped potential.
Right.
Tommy Kahnle, if you're a Yankee fan, you know he's a good reliever. And listen, Jack Flaherty balled out last year, so yeah,
Yeah, I mean, you know me as well as anyone. I was a huge Jack Flaherty fan when he was with St. Louis. I loved him.
yep,
He was awesome. He kind of fell off a little bit, and then he kind of got it back. So I'm happy to see that's back. So I think they have a good, three good rotation there, depending on how Casey Mays comes back this year.
yeah,
He kind of had an off season, and then you have Matt Manning, who's also really good. Kind of again depends on what he brings you. So I mean, they have a good 1-2 punch, Is whether the
Hmm.
rest of those guys can fill that out. And the only thing that kind of concerns me, besides the Canely addition, is the bullpen a little bit. I feel
Yes.
like that's their kind of weak point. But I mean, if you look at their offense, I think they should be good, minus Javier Baez, because that
I don't know if you'll see that guy there again.
I don't as good as he is on defense is that's all you kind of get from him nowadays. I don't know what happened, but yeah, minus that, I think they'll I think they'll be pretty good this year if all
Yeah.
their pitching, especially with Schoolboy and Riley Green and Torkelson, if they all stay healthy and stuff like that. I think this is gonna be a really good team there, and I think they can compete. I feel like they do have some ifs, but I think they can outweigh that with their good starting pitching and their offense that
Yeah.
they're gonna have, especially like you said, if Glaber plays up to Glaber standards. And even if he doesn't, I think he's gonna have a good season anyways, because like you said, 1 year contract, he's kind of got to prove something, and
Yep.
I think that he will. I always liked Glaber. It's just his defense was always the question mark on him. But I think this year he, like you said, has something to prove. And on a 1 year deal and playing in Detroit, the spotlight is not as big over there. So I think I think he'll shine over there, which is gonna hurt to see as a Yankee fan. But I mean, it is what it is. I don't wish bad on people.
Nah. I think again, spot on. I think your top two arms, you're talking about Schoolboy and Flaherty, top left-hander, a good right-hander. I think that's very scary. I think it really comes down to 4 and 5 for their starting rotation. I think
Yep.
Reese Olson has proved to be a good 3.4, 3.5 ERA pitcher.
Hmm.
What do you get from Casey Mize? Most likely we'll probably see. I mean, I want to say most likely. What I really want to see is Jackson Jobe. I mean,
Yep.
we've heard a lot about Jackson Jobe coming out of the farm system. What can he do? And can he be consistent? Like I said, rookie year, you probably expect him come out swinging. I mean, pitching good, and then probably fall into a little bit of a low, and then come back and kind of find himself. But like I said, like you said, I mean, they have good offense. Colton Keith, Glaber. I kind of want to see Riley Green really, really take that step. I mean, the guy's a monster, can be
Yep.
a monster. So yeah,
I do. Yeah,
I
some
think
high hopes there for Detroit there.
definitely.
I
And
do
then
think they definitely are a better wild card team.
yeah,
I don't see them winning the division at all. But I mean, there's potential, but I don't think they're good enough on the pitching end or offensively to take that division yet.
yeah, 100%. Maybe a year or two away. Another.
Hmm.
I mean, listen, anytime you're in talks with a big free agent like Bregman, that front offense is getting some confidence to really make some moves now because they think that they're close to be making a move. If they would have gotten Bregman,
Yeah.
that team would have been very scary.
Right.
Um, but talking about very scary, we talk about the team that got me so upset because I was at Yankee Stadium watching them lose to this team. That's the Kansas City Royals, man.
Yep.
I mean,
What's not to love
I
about the
love this
Royals?
team. I'm not gonna lie to you, and I'm a Yankee fan. I love this little team. You want to take it away?
I mean, yeah. I mean, I think in my eyes they have the best upcoming pitcher in Cole Ragans. He's phenomenal. Don't know how they got him on such a deal that they did, but he is nasty. If you
Yep.
ever watch him pitch, he is nasty. And then they got Seth Lugo with Michael Wakan Lorenzen. That's my iffy part about the rotation. I mean, they got some backups. They got Kyle Wright in there. They got, I think Daniel Lynch is still there. So they have some backups, but I mean, that still top rotation is good. Their bullpen has always been good. With the Royals, I don't know. Sometimes they just have a whole bunch of people that just throw the ball and they just end up being good. It's the thing that the Royals just kind of do. But like you said, their offense is just good. Obviously,
Yeah.
they have Salvi there behind the plate still. They got he also plays first base now too, and then they got Vinny however you say his last name.
Pasquantino.
And then they have Jonathan
Pasquantino.
India, who was like I believe did he win Rookie of the Year with the Reds?
Yes.
Yeah, they have a ex Rookie of the Year playing second base now. They have Mikael Garcia, who's a stud. Bobby Witt, probably a
That's
MVP
Bobby.
if Judge doesn't go crazy again.
Yeah.
And then their outfield is also amazing. So I think this team is going to be very scary. They play smart baseball. Is what the Rose
Hmm.
kind of always do. And if you have someone like Bobby Witt and Salvi doing what they're supposed to do, and then on top of that you add the ace in the team of Cole Ragans, I think this team is going to be really, really good. I think for this division, I think they either win it or in second place. I don't
Yeah.
see bearing injuries or crazy stuff like that. I don't see anything else below that. I think this is the team to beat in that division, minus the other team we haven't talked about.
Listen, I think you're 100% right. I really love what they did this offseason.
Mm-hmm.
Getting Jonathan India, putting somebody
Yeah,
right next to him. Like yeah, you do trade Brady Singer, right? But I think they're fine in the starting pitching department. I think Reagans would be good, Logo would be good. Listen, Waka looked amazing against the Yankees. The times he pitched.
yeah,
Lorenzen is probably like your and then year five with Chris Bubik as of right now. I don't think he'll be the five, but hey, that's another story for a, in a couple weeks now when we get into the actual season, see who actually makes breaks camp with the team. But listen, this team was very, very pesky.
yep,
Works the counts, gets big hits. A lot of these guys, they don't shy away from the big moments. Salvi proven. Bobby Witt is just an absolutely
stud.
dog.
He's a
Yeah,
stud.
like he's top two in MVP, and if Judge is not there going off after a horrendous April, he wins the MVP.
Mm-hmm.
I think this team is very good. I think you hit. Honestly speaking, I did have them. Honestly speaking, going winning this division. I think they'll flip flop with the Guardians.
Right.
Um, and I feel like and the only reason why I say that is because when we get into the Guardians, they don't got Naylor no more. And I felt like that was their heart and soul, man. That guy brought a lot of energy. So I really have this team going one and then Guardians two. Um, but yeah, I think that should clear up the Royals for us.
Yeah, I mean, it's not much to say. They got some studs over there. It's just
Yeah.
like you said. It's if you pick the Guardians to win that division, you pick the Royals. I don't see a problem with it. Like, there's no, I can't argue it. Either way you pick it.
Yeah. I mean, we'll dive right back in. We'll dive into the Guardians. I mean, I don't. They're another team that they get some random guy, a John Doe, and he's just throwing darts out there and nobody can touch him. The way they I would say develop pitching. Like I said, there's no Josh Naylor anymore, who I thought was the heart and soul of this team, but then they go out and get Carlos Santana.
Right. Mr.
Um,
OBS.
so exactly, Mr. OBS, he's gonna get on base by any means necessary.
Yep.
Class A still at the back of the bullpen. I mean, listen, he might have given those home runs up to the Yankees, but he's still Class A at the end of the day. He's gonna
Yeah.
be great. But I mean, the one thing that you look at this team and you're like, is the offense. Who is gonna help J Ram out? And that's what it comes down to.
Yeah. I mean,
Is that's that's what it comes down to this team. They're gonna pitch great. The bullpen's gonna be good. The closer's gonna be good. Their third baseman's gonna be good. Steven Kwan's gonna hit for contact. Lane Thomas is the guy you kind of hope that when he comes in, he kind of does what he did with the Nationals and not struggle as much as he did. Um, when he came over to the Guardians, I was gonna call him the name, the other name. But this is why I have this team too, and this is why I kind of have them flirting with the third best team with the Tigers because I kind of look at this team and I'm like, where are they gonna get runs from?
right.
Outside of Jeff, I at this point of the year, 600 at bats, I'm walking J Ram 600 times. Because who's gonna hit for them outside of Carlos Santana and Steven Kwan? So that's my one biggest gripe with this Guardians team right now is who's hitting. But like I said, they're probably gonna pitch their ass off because they always do.
Yeah, I think their pitching is their strong point. They have Bibby coming back. Shane
Yep.
Bieber obviously coming back. McKenzie, hit or miss kind of. He's usually really good, but sometimes he does have those games where he gets blown up. So that's the only iffy part about him. But then, like
Yep.
you said, they have Manuel Casse, they have Cade Smith still back in there. They have Paul Swad back there now. So I mean, that bullpen is really really good. Their starting pitching is really good. And then, like you said, you talk about their offense is kind of they added Carlos Santana, which is a big loss, I think, in my opinion, losing Naylor
Yeah.
because he's a power bat. Santana just kind of gets on base and does his job, whether he walks or gets little singles, but that's all he's kind of gonna do. He plays good defense, so I mean, you don't lose nothing there. And at second base, you really don't have anybody. Then you of course have J Ram, and shortstop you have their young guy, Rachino, I already say his name.
Yeah.
He's pretty good, but like you said, what are you kind of gonna get? Then you have Quan, who's gonna do the same thing that uh, Carlos Santana does at a better level. He's gonna get on base, steal some bases, make some plays for you. But it's the power that is kind of lacking for this team. And
Yeah.
if you're asking for the rookie Noel to do it, you're kind of asking a lot for him. But I do think that their starting pitching is going to be just enough, and their bullpen is going to be just enough to sneak that first place team. Unless, like I said, the Royals sneak in there or Detroit. But I don't know. With those three teams, I think it's pretty much you can flip flop any of those three. But I still do think that that Cleveland has the best shot at winning the division.
100%. All right. Let's take a trip
To the NL.
to the NL, man. Let's go down PA, Pittsburgh.
Beatsburg.
Um uh wait, what did they finish the year off with last year? They were 76 and 86, so very close to 500. The 17 games out from first place. So close to 500, but you're still battling.
Yeah, yeah,
Um Big upside. I mean, I don't like this division's very, 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 I would say, confusion for me.
I agree.
But like I said, they didn't really do much spending. I mean, they never really do any spending. Um, the team kind of stayed the same.
Yep.
I mean, listen, top two guys in this rotation are great. Paul Skeens and Jared Jones.
Hmm.
Mitch Keller, is he ever gonna find out? Like, I won't say find out, figure out his. I mean, Mitch. If you ever watch Mitch Keller pitch, he has great stuff. So
Right.
it's about just throwing strikes and just getting ahead of hitters. But great, like I said, great starting rotation. I mean, let's just say good starting rotation. Great is a little bit of
Good
overstatement.
1-2 punch.
Yeah, decent in the bullpen. David Bender. I mean, if he's bet David Bender from a couple years ago, then you have a great closer. If he's him from couple like last year, I would say. Then, but young, exciting bats. Not a lot of pop in this team.
Yeah.
Um, I mean, can Key Brian Hayes hit at MLB level? I mean, we know that he can field the ball with the best of them at third base, but it comes to a point when is the bat gonna ever catch up to the glove?
Yep.
So
I agree.
that's what Key Brian Hayes. And honestly speaking, I don't really see them making the playoffs either. And I think if
No.
they're having a similar year to what they did last year, I think it's time to pack up Brian Reynolds and stop asking for the sky and the stars and everything for him and just get him out. Because right now you're hurting yourself because you don't want to trade him because you want everything for him.
Yep. I totally agree.
So,
Like I said, obviously Paul Skeens is probably gonna have a tremendous year again. But this offense is horrendous.
yeah.
Um, like you said, Brian Hayes, as good as he is on the field, he doesn't provide much else. He doesn't hit for home runs. He barely gets doubles and triples and all that. He's kind of, if he gets on base, he's either a
So,
walk or a single, which is
yep.
sad to see because I do like him as a player. But I mean, this team doesn't really have much going offensively. Uh, I mean, yeah, all their hitters are basically kind of, besides O'Neal Cruz is probably the only power hitter you got. I mean, I don't really see him as a power hitter like that.
Yeah, I mean he's someone that can hit for power, but he's also someone that swings and misses a lot. So you'll
Cause he,
probably get 30 home runs or 200 strikeouts, which in today's game, it's not the worst thing. But for him, it's really just put the bat on the ball. The guy 6'7" was playing short. He probably, it's kind
yeah,
of unheard of. I mean, it's not unheard of, but you've seen it happen before. But it's a lot on his body. So him moving to the outfield probably put a lot of stress, a lot less stress on the body. Just and for O'Neal Cruz, for me, it's just if he just puts the bat on the ball, he's going to be a great player.
yep,
But as we know, putting the bat on the ball is the hardest thing to do in sports. So,
correct. All right, who we got
uh,
next?
Cincinnati. They finished one game better than the Pirates, 77 and 85, 16 games back from the first place Brewers. Um,
And I think this is another team that didn't do
yeah,
much. Probably not gonna do much in the season. I mean, they added some old, not old people, but like some young guys that are were supposed to be good that kind of never flourished. Other places like Austin Hayes, and they had Alex Young get signed there as well. But it's just a whole bunch of names that kind of they had high expectations that kind of never did anything. And then you have Hunter Green there, Brady Singer, like you said, was added onto this team. They still have Nick Lodolo with Andrew Abbott still, but and then obviously the closer Alexi Diaz, Edwin Diaz's brother, and they still have Taylor Rogers. But then outside of that, it's just I mean I think they'll be better than the Pirates at least. And then they
yeah,
have of course they have Ellie De La Cruz, but again it's a team I don't see doing much. I mean they have a lot of young guys, but
yeah,
outside of that, there's another team that didn't add enough to do have a big impact on this division.
yeah. I mean, I think this is a team that I think their pitching is good. I think Hunter Green continues to progress every year. He gets better and better, it looks like. Um, I think their 1 through 4 is good. Anytime you probably go Hunter Green, Nick Martinez, Nick Lodolo, Brady Singer, it's
Hmm.
pretty decent. That's 4 guys that give you a chance to win every game. Bullpen is pretty decent. I mean, they got Trevino now, backup catcher, with Tyler Stevenson, who had a good year. You really look for guys like Spencer Steer, Matt McClain to stay healthy, and we've seen Matt McClain look very good so far. Ellie De La Cruz is Ellie De La Cruz. The guy's a dog. I like him too. That's the shortstop with 6'7" that puts the bat on the ball, O'Neal Cruz. But you look at someone like Gavin Lux. Can you be that prospect that everyone was hyping up
Hmm.
for years? And listen, I'll just say it. I mean, every one of these Dodgers can't miss prospects. All they do is miss. These guys get touted, the Dodgers get touted as like the greatest farm system that the MLB has ever seen, and then it's just like these a lot of these guys are not even on the MLB. And like I get prospects, you miss a lot. I mean, you miss a lot more on prospects than you do hit. But every time we hear about that Dodgers farm system, it's like the greatest thing that God has ever created, and a lot of them really don't pan out to be a lot. That's why I always look at those farm system rankings. I don't really trust them.
Yeah.
But like I said, I like Gavin Lux to be honest though. Lefty. They'll probably slot him at third base this year. For him, it's just staying on the field and staying healthy and just getting enough reps and finding consistent at bats. He's not on the Dodgers anymore, so he's not gonna be seeing Mookie Betts at second, and then right field, and then shortstop. He's probably gonna be the everyday third baseman, and I think that's gonna be very, very beneficial for him.
Hmm.
Him getting everyday at bats. So as someone I look forward to as kind of an X factor for this offense, because I know what Ellie is gonna bring. I know what McLean's gonna bring. I know what Spencer Steer is gonna bring. So I really look for what can Gavin Lux bring me.
Yep.
Ooh, I like okay. Now it's getting interesting, Steve. And the reason why I'm smiling, because if you know, this next team stole my Kyle Tucker away. Nah, I'm joking. The Yankees never really had a chance. They were going to give up Luis Hill for him, even though Luis Hill is now hurt.
Yep.
But next team we're going to speak about is the Chicago Cubs. 83 and 79 last year, finished 10 games, tied for second, finished 10 games off from first place. Um, yeah, I mean, let's go right into it. They trade Cody Bellinger, they get Kyle Tucker, they signed Justin Turner. Um, did I say Kyle Tucker already?
Yep.
I probably said him like 5 times. I love him. I really hope that he comes to the Yankees very, very soon. But honestly speaking, they get Cody Petit for Cody Bellinger, who, I mean, if you look at what he did with the Yankees in the short term, even though he got hurt, they came back, pitched good. He pitched very good with the Yankees.
Yeah.
So I would want to see what they do with him, where exactly he slots into that rotation.
Right.
If he slots into that rotation, probably like a 6 man type person, or yeah, 6 man in between rotation and bullpen. But yeah, I mean, I think thumb trading, and we'll probably get into this in the next podcast. Paredes, uh, I just want to talk about Paredes real fast. In Houston, um, I think Brady's gonna do a lot of damage. That is someone who pulls the ball in the air a lot with them Crawford. But I was sorry, I was reading Cisco's chat over there. Uh, Pulls the ball in the air, pulls it too with those Crawford boxes. I think Brady's gonna be very good. But anytime you can get a batter like Kyle Tucker, I think you're in a good spot. A very, very, very good spot. Now, the only thing that comes to mind is I really, really wish they would have gotten another pitcher.
Yeah.
But listen, um, I don't know how to pronounce his name. I never knew how to pronounce his
Shata.
name. Yeah. And Justin Steele, I mean, that 1-2 punch is very scary. Worry about the bullpen a little bit. They do get Ryan Presley as well too. He's a good closer, but he was unhealthy. He was very up and down, but very healthy, not healthy, and kind of honored in between those two. I really want to see what this offense can do.
Yeah.
We know what Kyle Tucker is going to bring. PCA, Pete Crow, Armstrong, PCA. Um, can he be this top prospect? I think what he's been very good in AAA, then he comes up to the major, kind of struggles a little bit.
Yeah.
Uh, just give the man a bats. Let him go out there, play 150 games, and just let him do what he got to do. Ian Happ, who are you, Ian Happ?
He don't know
Someone
yet.
who, yeah, exactly. Um, but again, they have a lot of guys on this team like Dansby Swanson. If he can turn it back a little bit like a year ago, very good. Nico Horner, someone who hits for average. Michael Bush is good hitter. I mean, Carson Kelly at catching, good defense. Hit a couple home runs here and there. But these guys, a lot of question marks with their offense. I like them getting Justin Turner, a veteran bat, veteran
Yep.
presence in that dugout. But it comes down to what can this offense do. I love Seiya Suzuki. I think he had a great year last
Yep.
year. And I think he's going to continue building off that. But a couple question marks offensively. And listen, you get an aircraft carrier, jet, whatever you want to call him, Kyle Tucker to this lineup. You put him two. I mean, if he stays healthy, I think you see 35 home runs, 100 plus RBIs, 30 probably starting bases, and Gold Glove outfield and right field. And
Yeah.
he'll be a Yankee hopefully after this year's over.
Nah, I do agree that their biggest question mark is their pitching, but in a Central that isn't as strong anymore,
Yep.
it's gonna be close. But I do see this team being a wild card contention, maybe win the Central.
Hmm.
We'll talk about the other two teams here shortly, but some of those teams have lost a lot of people. Some of those teams lost big pieces. So I do see this team either competing for that top spot in the Central or at least close to it. But again, like you
Yeah.
said, their biggest concern is that pitching. They didn't really do much with it, but I think they do have good enough hitting in the Central to carry them over that hump now. But we'll, like you said, we'll see. Obviously, the Kyle Tucker addition is huge for them, and I think he does a lot for that lineup and make it a little scary. But like you said, they do have some pitchers there that were good once upon a time, like Jameson, Taillon, and Matthew Boyd. If
Mm-hmm.
if they can kind of regain just some of that, they don't have to regain it fully, but just some be good somewhat. I think they'll be a really good team if they can pull through a good maybe number 3 or 4 pitcher if they can produce. But I think this team will definitely contend at the top of the NL Central.
Yeah, 100%. We got Cisco in the chat said Kyle Tucker, there's a plucker, give me a pucker.
Cardinals at 5.
Cards in 5, Shannon Sharp voice. And I think he takes our segue into the Cardinals, as he is a huge Cardinal fan.
Yep.
And I'm gonna say this, my friend, you got some work to do. Listen, Cardinals ain't do much, if anything at all. Um, I mean, they let go of Goldschmidt. That's pretty much it. Everything else kind of stays the same. Um, that's pretty much it. I think the biggest question mark with this team is starting pitching.
Yeah, I agree.
Um, I mean, you got a couple young guys coming up. But you have Sonny Gray,
Yeah,
and then a whole bunch of question marks.
yeah, I agree.
And that going, Cisco said, "Don't tell me the truth, lie to me." You have 5 aces on this team, and a whole bunch of rookies that are coming up that are gonna. Nah, imagine. Nah, man. There's just Sonny Gray. Back end of that bullpen, I love John King. I kind of love their relief pitching, and I love Ryan Helsley. I really
Yeah,
wish that I was gonna say the Giants, the Yankees traded for Ryan Helsley and Nolan Arenado, but we didn't. But whatever. Or John King and Nolan Arenado because we needed a left-hander for a long time. But just a Yankee fan here who wants all your good players. Sorry, but no. In all honesty speaking, it's really of these guys really coming back to what they were. Guys like Wilson Contreras, can Nolan Gorman be what he was in AAA? Listen, we know he's gonna strike out. Cool, whatever. Give me 30 home runs.
yeah,
Um, Nolan Arenado, I mean, he's not the same hitter that he was or defender. He took a step back last year in defense too, but he's still a great defender. That's anything. But can he get his power numbers back up? I mean, we're seeing in a couple games in spring training, he's got his bat speed back. Well, as of right now, his bat speed is there, and that's very good early sign for him if he wants to get traded, because most likely he will be traded before opening day.
yeah.
If not, he'll probably get traded during trade deadline. But if his bat speed is back to what it was a couple years ago, I'm not saying you'll get that Nolan Arenado 30 home runs, 100 RBIs, but you'll get a 20 to 24 home run guy, 80 plus RBIs, batting 270. I think that's great for this stage of his career.
Hmm.
Mason Wynn, you want to see this. I love Mason Wynn.
Yeah,
I'm telling you, this shortstop crop right now it's deep.
yeah,
Pause. Have him do it. I love their outfield. Brendan Donovan, who I thought the Yankees were going to be interested in too before they got Bellinger. I mean, before they got Goldschmidt, I wanted them to move Bellinger over to first. Center field, you got Lars Nootbaar, another guy who just he gets on base. He's a good defender. And then your big question mark, and if this is my X factor for this team, is Jordan Walker. Um,
okay.
this guy coming out of AAA, AA, all through the minors was their highly touted prospect. I really, really want to see what can he do. I think this year they can't do what they do to him where he just struggles and they bring him back to AAA. You can't do
Right.
that to a young player. Just let him play, let him ride it out, let him struggle, let him now see what the MLB pitching is. All right, cool, I'm struggling. Then come back next month and just start slapping that ball. I mean, this guy's a big guy, a lot of he can have a lot of pop, but I don't know. I just feel like just let the leash go. Let him roam around, man.
Yeah, I agree. I think for the Cardinals, the biggest thing, like you said, is their starting pitching. I think if you do, when you trade Nolan Arenado, I think that's where you should kind of focus.
Yep.
I don't think them holding on to them or holding on to him helps them in any way. So I think you kind of gotta get rid of him now, instead of holding on and hoping he kind of explodes for offensive big numbers and then trade him. I think you just get rid of him now. up your pitching and you can contend. But as a team right now, I don't see them competing with the Cubs and
Yeah.
obviously the Brewers, who's the last team we're going to talk about. But you get rid of Nolan, you add a big pitcher or something, or add a couple pitchers. I'd say go out there, sign Trevor Bauer, fuck it. But yeah, but
You're not seeing that guy ever again.
no, that was a joke I wanted to throw in there. But yeah, I don't see them if they don't add a starting pitcher to really compete at this point. But like I said, like you said, trade Nolan now, get rid of him, add to your pitching, and
Yeah.
maybe you can compete with a wild card. I doubt it, just because the NL is pretty strong, heavily, especially in that East. I think there's going to be probably one or two teams that come out the East from the NL wild card. So for them to
Hmm.
compete for that spot's going to be tough. But yeah, that's all for the Cardinals. Just tear it all down, rebuild. I agree. Just trade them all. Trade Nolan. Trade them all.
You don't even need to tear it all down though, Cisco. It's more of just like get Nolan off your roster. You gotta eat some money though to get there.
Hmm.
Um, because you're
Yeah,
not. I mean, I would honestly speaking, trade deadline move Sonny Gray too, and you better hope Eric Freddie
that's all we
really
got.
pitches good in a couple of year pitchers pitch good. Because honestly speaking, you can trade them too in the. He's all we got. But honestly speaking, you're not that far away from contending again. You have good offense, a lot of young hitters coming up. But yeah, yeah, I'll be all right.
All right, and then we'll take
Um,
us to the last team, the Milwaukee Brewers.
yeah.
Obviously, probably both our favorites to win the division. I think.
He
Obviously,
said
with
he's
a
yeah.
yeah,
He's
obviously
literally
with
tearing
a
it all down, Sonny. More inconsistent than a drunk DJ. We have it, brother. Yeah, sorry.
You're fine. Obviously, with Freddie Peralta as your ace now, you know what you're gonna get from Freddie. It's not. It's
Oh
not.
yeah,
He's an ace for that team. And then Nestor Cortez, we as Yankee fan kind of know you're gonna get. You're gonna get some good games. You're gonna have some average games. You're gonna have some bad games. But that's
yeah,
kind of what he brings to the table. And you have Toby Myers and Aaron Ashby, who's pretty good, and then Savali to throw in there in the mix. We still have Brandon Woodruff, which hopefully he can be the Brandon Woodruff of old, and if he is, then you're sitting pretty. But he's
yeah.
coming back from
He's
injuries, so
pitching.
we'll
Yeah,
see.
he's faced live. He's been facing live hitters. So if he can come back from his injury, I think it was Tommy John, if I'm not mistaken,
Hmm.
off the top of my brain. Yeah, Tommy
Yeah,
John. But
but if you can get
he,
him back, that
yeah,
rotation is pretty good. And
mm,
then obviously Trevor McGill as their closer is nasty, and then like you said, Pi Pamps, however you say his name,
yeah,
he's
good
disgusting
luck.
too. He's disgusting too, and I like their bullpen a lot, and obviously their hitting has gotten better. They still have William Contreras, they still have Reese Hoskins there, they have Bryce Turang still there, and then they got Jory Ortiz at short. And then they have their stud in the outfield in Jackson Churio. They still have Christian Yelich. He's not the old Christian Yelich of old, but he's been playing better. I think. Obviously the home run, the power number hasn't been what it used to be. I'm not sure where that went, but it's gone. But he's still batting 300 and stuff like that. So I mean, he's getting the job done for what I see. And then you got some backup outfits like Mark Canna and stuff like that they added. So I think this is still the favorite to me and the team to win the division. Um, like I said, there's I mean obviously the power number is my only concern with this team, but I think they have enough, a lot more than enough for the offensive wise and pitching wise to win it.
Yeah. 100% agree with you. I think this is the favorite coming next year, especially if they get a healthy Brandon Woodruff.
Hmm.
I think if you sat somebody down and said, "Hey, you're gonna lose your closer and you're
Yeah.
gonna lose your starting shortstop, what are you gonna do?" And I honestly speaking, they don't have much to do. Um, Especially if you get a good Brandon Woodruff back. Because then your 1-2 is Freddie Peralta and Brandon Woodruff, and then Nestor Cortez, who's a good. I mean, if Nestor Cortez is your 3 or 4, you're in a good spot.
Yeah.
So, and then you're pairing up Cortez with Aaron Savali. So, I mean, listen, I think that pitching is good enough, especially in this division where it's kind of it's very weak.
Yeah.
Um, there's a lot of mid teams. When I say mid, literally teams fighting for 500, and if not, you're just lower. So I think they have enough. I think their bullpen is still very good, even though they don't have Devin Williams. I think Reese Hoskins. I look for a bounce back year.
Right.
Um, two batting away. I believe it was 213 last year he batted. So I he's kind of like someone that you probably put sixth or seventh now in this lineup. I want to see what Bryce Terang brings. Like you said, Jackson Churro, we already know superstar coming in in the business. I think he's going to be very good. Yelich, listen, he might not be this 30, 40 home run guy anymore. Unfortunately, I mean, the injuries, back, knee, you name it, he had it. Which is very unfortunate. This guy was an unbelievable hitter.
Yeah.
With Miami, very young, and then when he came over to the Brewers, the power just came. But I think he's still a 280, 300 hitter. I
Yeah.
think he can hit you 20 home runs still. But honestly speaking, you don't let Willie Adames walk. I mean, obviously Milwaukee was not going to pay him
Yeah.
if you don't believe in Joey Ortiz. And I think Joey Ortiz is going to have a good year. And this is why I think this team is going to be first place team.
Yep.
Good pitching. Um, they kind of remind me a little bit of the Guardians, but I have a little bit of a better lineup. I really want to see what Caleb Duran does. If you're a Yankee fan, he's a name that you know good and well, kind of. He shot out the prospect rankings out of nowhere last year and just was the Arizona Fall League MVP. And then his stock skyrockets, and then the Yankees just trade him for Devin Williams. So I really want to see what he can be. I mean, a lot of the reports were kind of Altuve-ish. He's not going to strike out, and he can steal a lot of base. So I want to see what he can do. But I think my X factor, because I think it's going to be two things: Christian Yelich's health and Joey Ortiz.
Yep.
I think that's what it comes down to for the
Yeah,
Brewers.
I'm actually very excited for this team. Like you said, if they
Yeah,
can get Brandon Woodruff back to kind of what he was,
yeah,
kind of I think it solidifies they should win the Central if he's back to what he was. Especially with you have Nestor Cortez, who fits in right there, perfect as a number 3-4 pitcher, and you still have Aaron Ashby who can give you something, and then Savali if he can be Savali what he used to kind of be. I think this team is really, really good. Even losing two of their probably the biggest players that they had in Adames and Williams, it just shows how
yeah,
deep this team actually was last year. That they were really good last year, and they're still pretty deep. And then for them to lose their biggest superstars and still be pretty good is kind of good. But yeah, I think that kind of wraps up both the AL and NL Central, and that
yes,
should
sir.
wrap up the podcast. But we do have one last thing, which is the song of the day.
I got mine's up already.
All right. Well, since I gave mine first last time, it's
I
only
go
right.
first.
Yeah.
Hold on, let me read this comment. Javier Cisco said, Caleb Durbin, sunburn, there's a fern, Cardinals in five. Yeah, 5 games out of fourth place. Nah, my song of the day, I just put this thing on shuffle. Came up as Mockingbird, Eminem.
Ooh, classic.
Yes, sir.
For me, it's No L's by Semino. Probably never heard
Mm,
of it. It's a pretty good song. I like it. Heard it one day,
bien.
scrolling on the TikTok, and I was like, "What song is this?" Added it to my playlist. It was pretty good.
Yeah. There's gonna be a day when I do this and Sabrina Carpenter comes up. Don't be shocked, all right? All right, thank you.
But yeah, man. This wraps up episode 2 here of the podcast. Here, thank you for everyone that dropped in, commented, showed some love. We will be posting up this whole session episode on YouTube later on. We'll
Yes,
probably
sir.
premiere it tomorrow. Well,
Tomorrow around
today now,
yeah,
but like around the
yeah,
afternoonish. For
like
anyone
11,
who's
12.
Yeah, for anyone who kind of missed the live stream. But if you were here during the live stream, drop in on the YouTube, drop a like, drop a comment. If you know anybody, share it with anybody. We open to conversations about different topics and stuff like that. We're pretty much, like you can tell from this podcast, we went from esports to basketball to MLB to
Football, football to
football to
football
WWE.
to
So I think
WWE.
we kind of hit on them a lot. But yeah, definitely continue showing the support on the live streams. I know we do it kind of late. That's why we're gonna upload them on YouTube at a different time, so they're not uploading super late at both sections. So we'll just live stream, upload on YouTube for the people that can't be here in the live streams. But we do appreciate everyone here in the live streams. We do appreciate people
100%.
watching this after. Just the highlights was the John Cena thing. Definitely a highlight for me.
See?
Got me out of nowhere. Um, Obviously Debo to the Commanders was crazy, and then and some of the NBA action was pretty alright. Some of the teams losing and stuff like that, and then just some MLB stuff. But yeah, it was awesome podcast. Talked about a
Yes,
lot, hit
sir.
on a lot. As soon as we're done, I think next podcast is the West, I believe.
AL. Yeah, AL and NL West.
And then once we're done with that, we're done with our predictions for the MLB season until the MLB season actually starts. So it'll
Yeah.
kind of give us some room to add some extra stuff in there. It's about
Yeah,
some
we'll,
other sports and
we'll
stuff like that. Maybe we'll talk
yeah.
about music and give our top five or something like that, or 10.
Yeah, we'll 10 is where it gets tricky. Nah, yeah, we'll break down the AL and NL West. And then we'll probably come back and kind of make it paint it out a little better. Like who we have first through 1 through 5, and then the playoff picture. And then honestly speaking, before the season starts, we'll probably have awards way too early awards. MVP, Cy Young, Silver Slug's a little crazy. But things like that. And yeah, I mean, listen, it's gonna be fun. Baseball's about to start. Hockey and basketball going into playoffs.
Yep.
So yeah,
All right. Well, that wraps us up for episode 2 of the Sandlot Bros podcast. We'll catch y'all on episode 3, and stay tuned to our Twitter when we'll make that episode. Pay attention to that. If you have me on Instagram or Twitter, I'll post it on there too. But until then, can't wait to see y'all episode 3. Hopefully some exciting news happens, and if it does, we'll be there to talk about it. So see y'all later. Peace out. And we're still working on a catchphrase, so there's no catchphrase yet.
yeah. Just like, comment, subscribe. All the links will be in the description. Like we always say, listen, before normally we come do this podcast, we are streaming on our separate channels, but we're playing together. Marvel Rivals still. So if you want to catch us on that one, that will be in the description as well. And then our Twitters and everything and all that stuff, man. Excited for episode 3.
All right.
Shohei Ohtani and them Dodgers, huh?
All right. Later. Love y'all. Peace.